All right, well, September starts our fall-winter season here on Practically Culture, which means it's time for the fall-winter preseason power rankings, where we give you
Yes.
our best guesses at how good the upcoming movies and TV shows will be. Today is TV, and next week Bob will go over movies. Are you ready, Bob?
I am ready. Let's hear it for the TV.
I'm going with 10 this time because fall's a big season for
Wow.
TV.
Woo.
10. Hello, Ladies HBO, projected preseason ranking 3.5 stars. Stephen Merchant plays a gawky Englishman who comes to Los Angeles to find the woman of his dreams. Stephen Merchant, of course, is Ricky Gervais's usual partner in crime. They've done some good stuff together, like The Office, Extras. Merchant's doing his own thing here this time, though, and I'll have to see a few of the episodes before I know if it'll keep its place in my top 10, but it's certainly got a shot.
I'm excited for it, actually. I think he sometimes makes up the better part of the duo, dare I say that, because Ricky Gervais gets all the limelight, but I'll give it a whirl, sure.
Yeah, it certainly is worth watching. Also, spoiler alert, well, at least in terms of the power rankings, the only HBO show to make my preseason rankings.
Ooh, nice.
Number 9, Sons of Anarchy FX, 3.5 stars. So this is Kurt Sutter's Motorcycle Gang TV show based vaguely on Hamlet, starring Charlie Hunnam, Ron Perlman, Katie Seagal. Okay, so you know me, Bob. I'd much rather have a show with some great elements and some big flaws compared to one that's just sort of good but not great all around.
Hmm.
And Sons has the great / flawed polarity going on big time. I personally love Charlie Hunnam's intensity and charisma, and Ron Perlman plays one of the most complex antagonists on TV. But I really got to warn you, the story can get really hokey. So if that's a deal breaker, Sons of Anarchy might not be for you. Um,
Well, and what season are we in? How long is it?
6. This is
Oh,
6.
geez. Yeah,
And it's
there's no
going
way
for
I'm
one. It's going for one more season. But the one thing I do want to say, even though I can't call Sons great, in my house it's like a TiVo champion, by which I mean, you know, when you have like a full DVR and you're deciding what to watch first. Sons
Mm-hmm.
of Anarchy will often beat shows much better than it when it comes to the TiVo
Love
Laminator
it.
arena.
The guilty pleasure effect.
That's right. 8, Brooklyn Nine-Nine, Fox, 3.5. So the first, well, I guess Hello Ladies is a new show, but I'm even more excited for this one. So Dan Gore and Michael Schur, who have written for Parks and Recreation, they created this cop comedy starring Andy Samberg as a cop whose boss, played by Andre Braugher, wants him to grow up and stop clowning around all the time. So you know I love Parks and Rec, so that's a good sign. And this actually seems to be the consensus pick of critics who have seen the fall pilots as probably the best new comedy of the fall. So I'll definitely be checking this one out.
Okay, yeah, Andy Sandberg is kind of a mixed bag because he's an SNL alum and he's done some crap, and I feel like he just is directed in whatever way the material that's handed to him is allows him to be, and hopefully this is better material for him.
Yeah, I'm actually usually not a fan of Andy Samberg, but I hear good things. The Parks and Rec writing, which usually is the major aspect of a TV show,
Right.
that's a good sign for me. So
Cool.
anyway, preseason is number 8. Number 7, Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D., ABC 3.5. So Joss Whedon is creating a TV show based on the Marvel Comics S.H.I.E.L.D. The nerds could scarcely be more excited, Bob. Comic books plus Joss Whedon is a proven combination. Well, if you like the Avengers, at least. That's about all I know so far, but it's enough to make me watch.
Yeah, this is the one that I've seen way too many previews of because it's always rolling over and over again before the movie previews start when I go to see movies. And I'm just going in with a low bar because I think it's gimmicky and over the top. And Joss Whedon does, but he does a good job with other stuff he's done. And I don't know how this is going to play out in my household. I may have to watch it on my own, and we'll see how if it's any good to keep me going.
Yeah, we will see. Number 6, Parenthood, NBC, 4 stars. So
Mm.
Jason Katims developed this little gem after did Friday Night Lights, and he's proving himself to be one of the best writer-creators on network TV. You know, it's not edgy like a lot of good cable shows, and it can swerve a bit to the sentimental, no question about it. But it's about an extended family, and it's just got a lot of charm and a lot of heart, and it's really pretty good.
You know, this is one that I've postponed or haven't explored, and every time I see previews, I'm really drawn to it, and I just don't know why I haven't watched it. I mean, what season is this? Is this 3 or 4?
I feel like we're going to 4, even though I feel like it's a new show, but yeah, I think we're heading to season 4. Wow.
Isn't there another also clone, not clone, but movie or show that's almost exactly like this with a different name? Brothers and Sisters, was that what it was called? Did it die? Anyway,
Oh yeah, Brothers and Sisters I think is gone, and it certainly started before. I think this came out this first season. Modern Family did, or right around the same
mm,
time, and they were compared, but they're not very similar. I mean, one's a drama, one's a comedy, and I don't know. But Parenthood is, just a surprisingly watchable show.
nice. Okay, I may have to check it out.
5. It's Always Sunny in Philadelphia. FX. 4 stars is my projection. We done this briefly last week in Weekend Picks, and just to reiterate, it's about the worst human beings on the planet who own a bar, but it manages to be funny because the joke is always on them. Uh,
Yes.
Sunny may not be for everyone, I will grant that, but this will be its 9th season, and it's still going strong. If you actually get FXX, that is. It's not coming into my house yet, unfortunately.
What? Lame. I finally figured out how to get it, but shame on you, FX, for releasing a new channel and then like not making it easy. Whatever.
Yeah. I'm sure I'll manage to watch it at some point. But yeah. 4. Scandal, ABC, 4 stars. Shonda Rhimes' political soap opera thriller starring Kerry Washington as Washington, D.C. fixer Olivia Pope. The storylines get absolutely nuts and in no way plausible or realistic. But it's extremely watchable, a ton of fun, and probably the most addicting show on TV. Great show
Mm,
to binge watch if you need to catch up. You will not be able to stop watching episode after episode, and I'm looking forward to it coming back.
nice. This is the one in my household that's the reverse. I'm not watching it, but now I feel like I'm missing out by not being part of it happening in the other room.
Yeah, you should watch it. You should watch it. It'll draw you in.
Okay.
3. Masters of Sex, Showtime, 4.5 stars is my projected ranking. So, Michelle Ashford, who, as far as I can tell, this is her first show-running gig, developed this show about Masters and Johnson, the 1950s sex researchers played by Michael Sheen and Lizzie Kaplan. There's obviously plenty of nudity and sex, naturally, this being Showtime, but it's the latest in Showtime's push to be more than just titillating. So I understand that the complex relationship between the leads is as prominent as the voyeurism. So that's a good sign, I think. And this is probably the critical consensus pick for Best New Drama of the fall. And this one has a shot to really drift toward number 1 by the time of the final power rankings. But we've heard that before, so I'm starting out a little bit more cautiously.
Okay, yeah, I like the progressive attitude of the show and trying to explore things that are taboo. These things, that can backfire, but it also can make it so that you're taken seriously. So we'll see.
Yeah, and this will also be a show that we will be recapping in our
Yes.
fall-winter recap season, so join us for those. Number 2, Homeland, Showtime, 4.5 stars. So this is an important season for Homeland, the show starring Claire Danes as anti-terrorism CIA agent Carrie Matheson and former Marine she's investigating, played by Damian Lewis. But the first season was probably the best season of TV Showtime has ever produced.
Yeah.
And it seemed like it would be impossible to have a second season of the show just based on the premise.
Right.
But they still did a second season, and honestly, the second season wasn't quite as tight. And if we project that downward trajectory, 4.5 is probably a little optimistic. But it definitely starts the year as a must-watch show, and we'll see if it's a must-watch show by the end of the year. But this will be the other show that we'll be recapping every week.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm excited for this one.
So number 1, Parks and Recreation, NBC, 5 stars. So
What?
I feel a little odd putting a comedy at number 1 for some reason. But Parks and Rec, it's about earnest yet effective city employee Leslie Knope, played by Amy Poehler, and a terrific supporting cast. It's just one of the best shows on TV. Parks and Rec ended last season as one of the great comedies, still in its prime, and there's not necessarily any reason to think it won't be as great. Well, until it isn't as great, as happens to many shows. And I know you've resisted catching up, Bob, and I can't deny that the first season was definitely not great. And probably by the time you get to this, it'll suffer from overhyped syndrome, which is a shame. But in a season without a lot of giants, the spring has somehow become more stacked than the fall as far as TV shows I like. but I anticipate it'll be the best show of the fall for me, and it gets my #1 spot in the preseason power rankings.
Love it, love it. I may need to catch up. I'll have some long plane rides coming up, and maybe I'll binge watch in that way.
Awesome. So that's the preseason fall power rankings for TV. Tune in next week to hear Bob give us the rundown for movies.